speaking of achievements to be proud of, hello, welcome to Mostly Finished Thoughts. We are the 155th most listened to leisure podcast in Norway.
Ja, det kjempegreit. Og hallo, alle norske lyssnare. Jeg må bare si takk for forhånd, for ni sånn utrolige kamerater. Send some choice Norwegian words.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, I have no idea what you said. There are times when I can.
It's fine.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say there are times when I can poke through languages, and that was not one of those times.
It's a magnificent language. I love Norwegians. They have the best language. They sound like the Swedish chef to me. The hurdy-gurd.
Well, now we're definitely going to go from 155 to at least like top 20.
Hopefully.
Just based purely
so
on that.
We're in the leisure category.
Yeah, because I didn't really know where to put us. There's obviously no like
Twitch music
Twitch category. There's just music, but like I don't feel like we talk enough about music specifically to be in the music category.
Would be disappointed if they wanted to hear about music.
Precisely. And we don't talk about we don't have like a specific topic that we stay true to. We just kind of talk about lots of stuff. We always try and circle it back to like Twitch at some point during the podcast, but like we do talk about a lot of really random stuff, which I love.
The name is very fitting. It's Mostly Finished Thoughts, and then
I don't know that it matters what category we're in. I'm going to say...
I've been working on a jingle, or I came up with a thing today when I was doing coffee.
Really?
Or just a mostly finished thoughts? Oh, mostly finished thoughts. And having that as a... and then put like the music of not the wheel loop to that, but something close.
Nice. I love that, actually. I think that's great. I have, in the topic of music, I've had some thoughts. They are... mostly finished.
That's excellent. Or they're most finished. But yeah, I'm very keen.
Yeah, so I've been learning how to make beats, which is like a lot of people start with that. Like when they start, like they have Ableton, whatever, they're like creating beats. It's something I've never really done. I am not good at drums. I don't know how to play drums. And so I always feel like I struggle in my live loops. I've gotten better, but like I just don't know how to like make it hit, you know? Yeah. So I'm trying to get better at that. And I've also I'm doing some work for a game, like some sound design work, but also some like light composing stuff. So they're like, hey, can you create a song in the style of like these like very like more dancey songs? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I can, but sure. So I've been trying to learn that. And I think it's cool. And I think it just like translates into like everything else that I do. But I don't know the last time that I sat down and I was like, I'm going to learn how to do this specific thing. And I'm going to figure out how to do it better. It feels kind of neat. Yeah,
cool. Are you using like tutorials, or are you following like a course, or
just tutorials? Like I kind of just want to see how people do it. Like I don't want to make exactly what they're making, but I want to see like, okay, what are the steps? Because I tried to do it on my own because I know how to do music production. And so I kind of just like was listening to a bunch of songs, opened Ableton, made a bunch of stuff. And like, I'm actually pretty happy with a lot of the stuff that I made, but I'm like, I know that I'm missing things because I've never done this before. So I'm just kind of like watching YouTube videos and seeing like, okay, like what's your steps? In what order do you do things in? And like, what's your EQ chain? What's your compression? What plugins are you using? What's your like whatever, trying to like, because I don't know, I can make it up, but I'd be interested to learn from someone who's like done it before. And so I've learned a whole bunch.
I got sudden dry mouth just thinking about using Ableton as a production thing and making like a complete thing in Ableton. So I make like one thing a day now, where I'm sitting down and playing some guitar and then looping things over that and trying to come up with like drum loops. But The drums is where I fall apart.
Same.
Just if I want to have it, how do I?
Joel, I can tell you, I know now. You use an arpeggiator for those hi-hats. The like, instead of having to like tap it yourself, you stick an arpeggiator in there, and then you can decide what your
so then you get the your
timing is.
Oh God, thank you.
You're welcome. Cool. I knew that from before, and then also forgot until this morning when I watched a YouTube video and some guy just threw an arpeggiator on his synth, and I was like, oh, that's so much easier than doing it myself and quantizing it.
Yes.
Sorry.
My brother bought a Push 2. Mm-hmm. That thing is incredible. Mm-hmm. Do you have one of those as well? Mm-hmm. Or do you use Innovation Launchpad?
I have a Push 2 controller. We called it my checkerboard for a long time that I was learning how to play checkers. I now know how to play checkers, which is really cool. I like it a lot. I think it's one of those tools that, unfortunately, when people ask me, they're like, oh, like, is it worth it? Like, I know they want me to say no. I know that they want me to be no, you can totally just like get something else. And it's like, no, it's kind of worth it. If you're gonna
do, designed especially for Ableton and like
exactly
your whole workflow
and like I use it every single time that I stream. I now also use it for coming up with ideas when I am doing songwriting. In October, I did Songtober, which was Malin's initiative, and it was great. I'm so happy that I did it. I did 13 songs in a month, which is the most songs I've ever written in that period of time.
More songs than I've written, period.
I mean, don't get me not all of them are good. A lot of them are kind of crappy. Don't give me that. No, I'd refuse.
Oh, the Spice Finger. Uh-oh.
Look out. The Spice Finger is coming out.
Alanna's now raising the patented Taylor Spice Finger. Threatening me with assault.
I am. But I used it a lot for Songtober. I now use it, like, it's great for drums, but like for live streaming, like being able to add stuff on the fly, being able to loop using that and not having to like really ever look at Ableton. The only reason I look at the software is if I have to change my time signature. That's the only time that I look.
You can't do that on the Push 2?
I mean, maybe I can. I don't know how. Yeah. And it's so easy for me to just like, it's at the top of Ableton. I can just switch it from 4/4 to 6/4, and that's really the only changes I ever make.
Do you have a MIDI foot switch, by the way?
Not yet.
That is on my
one.
Have you seen Ordo uses the Nectar Pacer?
He does, and I think I have one on my Amazon wish list. I can't remember, but I think I might just buy one for myself. But the Nectar is really that's the one that's really complicated, right?
I think that is like a DAW controller. You can do everything with that.
Yeah, which is
ARM and stuff.
Kind of appealing.
Yes. But then you need to learn how to tap dance as well.
Can you
and
dance?
There's quite the hefty price tag. You can if you want to, because that is my if I could have that and just tapping out the metronome beat, just having a guitar in my hands and just tapping my feet to the beats. That would make life so much easier.
Yeah.
Than having to, whenever I want to change tempo, go into Ableton and go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep. See, I tap on my push controller. But I also want a foot switch. I mainly want a foot switch because I want to be able to do like free loops so that like without having to plan for it, without having to say like, this is the tempo, this is when I'm going to loop, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. Like just to be able to like a hardware looper, press it to start looping, press it to stop looping. And like, that's mainly what I want. So I don't think I'm going to get like the Nectar or anything super complicated. I just want literally a MIDI controller that I can use with my feet.
I went to the music store here in town. Because at one point we only had one. We used to have 5. And then they all closed except one. So now we have one that I've been trying to support. Nice. And I went there to buy I wanted to buy a MIDI foot switch.
Yeah.
I just wanted something MIDI that I could control with my feet.
Yeah.
And he said, there's no such thing. You have to check the internet. Good day, sir.
I also had almost exactly the same experience as you. I went to a guitar / music store on Sunday. Doesn't matter. Irrelevant to the story. To get my guitar fixed. I dropped my guitar off, bought a guitar because that's how my life's going right now. But I asked them while I was waiting for them to put my information in the system. I was like, hey, do you have any foot controllers? What do you mean foot controllers? And I'm like, and they're like, do you need it like something to manage your pedal board? And I'm like, no, MIDI controlling. They're like, oh yeah, no, MIDI that's not a thing. And I'm like, it is a thing. Don't tell me it's not a thing. I know it's a thing, sir. But
I don't know if we're spoiled and out of the loop, into the loop of Twitch, where you just go, well, I made it, because we all know these things. Mm-hmm. You should have this in. And they go, sir, what is this specialized item you're talking about? Don't you know who I am?
It's
Twitch.tv/autopilot. Look at that man. And you will see. That is what I should have done, though. I should have pulled up an auto clip and go, this is what I want to be able to do, a thousandth of.
Yeah. Can you make this happen?
I want to arm a track.
Yeah. I think it's more the tone that people give you sometimes when you ask questions like that. When you're
Do you feel comfortable going to a music store?
No, God, no. No.
That is when my imposter syndrome hits the hardest.
Oh, yeah.
That's when I feel pardon me. Get. And I lose my words. And they,
Yeah. I always equated that a little bit to being a woman, because they don't listen to me, and they always assume that it's my partner that's buying something when we go in together, and they'll just talk to him and be like, stuff. What do you want? And clearly I'm the one looking at the guitars. It's very annoying, but yeah, it's a little bit,
girlfriend?
Yeah, it's a little bit reassuring to hear that you also feel that way.
But I also came into the music scene so late in life, so I never had those meander around a guitar store for 5 hours a day that a lot of my friends did.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, his pastime was just going to the music shop and being friends with the owners and just hanging out and playing things.
I hate with those such people.
A purpose. I go in there going, hello, I would like to purchase strings, cable, and microphone. And everyone else is just going, sup, dude? Need anything?
Yeah.
And I wish I could be the chill dude who just goes in and goes, I'm just going to spend a few hours looking at things, browsing. How do you browse in a music store? Everything? So especially in COVID times.
But it's partially because of people like your friend who sit and just play guitar and are probably amazing, that I go in there and I don't really solo, but I finger pick. I know how to play guitar perfectly well. I teach guitar. I know in my heart that I know how to play guitar. And yet for some reason when I walk into a guitar store, I'm terrified. And they're here, yeah. I'm oh yeah, can I try this very fancy guitar out just for fun? Let me play you a G chord.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's rock a little D chord. Oh, how about some Blackbird? Yeah, I bet no one's played Blackbird in your store before. But it's my brain just implodes because there's so many talented guitar players in that room, including the dude at the end of the row who's clearly just walked in off the street and is just ripping a solo. And I'm just in there being I play guitar, I swear.
I usually sing at the same time as I'm playing, so I'm not don't judge my guitar playing. You need to hear me sing as well.
Yeah, I always feel I need to make sure that they know that I'm a musician. Yeah. Even on Friday, they were I was trying to buy a guitar. I knew I needed one with electronics in it because I don't mic my guitar. I want to plug it in. And there was a version that had electronics in it, and there was a version that didn't have electronics in it. And the guy was like, oh, are you sure you needed to have electronics in it? It's $300 cheaper if you just get it without the electronics in it. And I'm like, no, I
you trying
need
to
the
undersell yourself, sir?
Literally, I'm like, no, I need the one with the electronics. And he's like, okay, well, like as long as you're sure. And I just like turned to him and I'm like, I play live 4 times a week. I need to be able to plug my guitar in. He's like, oh, okay. It's just like, you're trying. Why are you trying? Like, I think he thought he was doing me a favor. I don't know. I'm like,
I guess it comes from like the goodness of it, but still, it's a weird thing to do.
They're trying to be a good person, and I know that they're trying to be a good person, but it is still just this very like annoying instinct to be like.
My first gig, I had a pub. Oh my god! So that was the pub. I don't know if I told you the story. When I started playing gigs.
I don't think so.
Because I frequented the same pub when I turned 18, and my brother was a regular at the pub, and they always had music on Fridays. So I tagged along with him, and then I started spending my Fridays there. And then I was sitting there. They were like gods. They were playing Bojangles, those kind of songs, like old time folk things.
Mm-hmm.
People who played for 40 years, incredible players. And I thought, wow, one day I'd love to be there and sit on that stage. And then when I was 20, I started playing guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked the owner after I'd been playing for 3 months, just to get like a scope of things, like what is required to play here. And she said, do you have a guitar? Yes. Good. Let's set a date. What?
Wow.
So my first gig came about, and I was going to play for 4 hours. And then she asked me, where's your microphone? And I went, what? Don't you supply the microphone? They went, no, you have to bring your own stuff, like microphone stand and note stand. Oh, crap. But thankfully I'd called ahead. So on the same day I went to the music store, one of them who then closed. I went, hello, I have a gig. I know nothing, and I would like everything that you have. So I bought a microphone cable, guitar cable, microphone stand, and the whole note thing. And my old roommate was with me, and there was a girl manning the counter, and she asked me, "So where's the gig?" And I went, "Oh, it's at a bar." Okay, which bar? just a hole in the wall. Jeez. I was so nervous that I didn't even realize that she was hitting on me or like genuinely interested in what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I need to purchase these things.
That's so cute.
And then I played for 4 hours that night.
Wow.
My first gig. And I thought that was like that everyone did that. This is a normal thing. You play for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then it turns out, no. That is not a normal like show. If you're a bar musician, yes.
Were those seagulls?
Yes.
Wow.
Do I need? Should I close my back?
No.
They were not that loud. They get lively during the evenings. And then there's also what are they called? This is fun. Swedish man talks about birds.
Oh, what's our word? What's our English word of the day?
Jackdaw, I think, and also magpies hang out in our yard.
Yes.
And then also the seagulls. And the seagulls now have kids or babies.
Baby dolls.
So there's something that flies by every night at like 4 a.m. goes and it's the weirdest sound ever. And I always laugh if I'm awake. It sounds like something terrible is happening.
Yeah.
So this is our second year of living here. The first year hearing that, I was, what in tarnation is happening outside our window? But now, where were we?
Now you're used to it. Sorry, we were talking about going into music stores.
Music store.
And about
do
foot
you
switches.
think people, and I think a lot of people just hang out there and show off.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people who really like play solos, where they go in and go, oh, I'm just browsing.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't had a gig in a while. Let me try that guitar. And then like that they have a planned set list. I'm gonna play these songs. Yeah.
I think you're right. I don't have the confidence for that. Like, I mean, I feel like I know the answer to this question already before I ask it. But like, if someone hears that you're a musician, have you ever had someone come up to you and just go, "Oh yeah, sing something"?
Oh yes.
What do you do in those situations? Like, I know so many songs. I could sing so many songs, and I just blank on everything. I have no idea what to do.
Burst into Music of the Night. Very up close. Night chimes.
For the visual gag, Theodor just put his hand in front of his face to indicate how close he would be to someone singing Music of the Night.
Proximity. Night chime. There might be some spikes. We might have to cut that out, but that might be spikes. But
it's all right.
There's a Swedish song called Bamsesagan, which is meant to be sung in a terrible way, and that is also always my go-to when you try to do your absolute worst. Because I have confidence.
I just realized I should be rickrolling people every time. That would be so smart.
Just telling that we're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. Yeah. I love that song. I think it's a good piece of pop music.
It honestly is. I think it's funny that it's become such a meme and such a thing, but it is like...
And that Rick Astley is like the greatest dude ever.
Is he?
His things on Reddit. Have you seen it? Oh, his AMAs on Reddit?
No.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he's done 3 or 4 AMAs.
Really?
He's very popular.
Interesting. Also, I found that was it the Nectar foot pedal that we were talking about?
The Nectar Pacer, yeah?
Yeah.
Not sponsored, by the way.
It is $300.
Wow.
That is too many doll hairs for me.
I have $300 in my bank account, but
it's not
they might
for
be
that.
earmarked towards something else.
I just want one button.
Yes, that's also what I want. Like yesteryear. Is yesteryear a thing? Theodor. So last year, I had my old MIDI keyboard that I resides in my mom's house. But I thought, well, I'm not using that anymore. I can put that on the floor, and then I can just map like the MIDI things to that. So like C3 would be arm the track. But I don't know if you tried playing piano with your feet. It's very difficult.
Not since I was very small.
Yeah, yes. And then I was sitting here trying to arm the tracks with my feet, and I have ginormous hobbit feet, and trying to... So it was very difficult. And then that's when I realized I should probably just get a MIDI thing.
Yeah, probably.
My wife told me when I went, "What are you doing? Why are you kicking the piano?" I'm trying to play.
I'm trying to gently press it. See, the ticket is that you just have to set like a cluster of keys to all have the same command, so that way you can press all of them at once. But they'll still do the same thing for you.
Stripping a proper keyboard, and just like keeping the space bar button. And then having that as a thing, because I have a spare.
That's not a bad idea either. I have the push 2 controller, but I also have 2 smaller MIDI controllers. So I have 2 Akai. One has a keyboard on it. The other one does not have a keyboard on it. It's just 8 pads and 8 dials. And when I first got the second one, the one without the keyboard, I did think about just putting it on the floor, but something felt wrong. I couldn't bring myself to do it. Also, if you told me last year when I got the checkerboard that a year later I would have not only the checkerboard, but more buttons, that I would have purchased more buttons to add to my buttons, I would not believe you.
Buttonception, yeah.
Yeah, but here we are.
Do you use your Stream Deck a lot?
Yes.
It is such a quality of life, and having it when I open OBS, have everything laid out that it just opens everything.
I use it a lot for the cozy collab, switching back and forth between scenes, and like I even have it programmed to like do the muting of Zoom and stuff for me, so that all of that works automatically, which is great.
That's super.
So that's cool. But I use it now mainly. I was using it a lot for stuff that I now have working automatically. So I had like an original song overlay that I would pop up, but that's all programmed into the overlay that one of my mods built for me.
Oh.
So now just those things pop up automatically. I don't really have to do anything. It is. But I use it for the silly zoom ins and for being right back. And I have my light attached to it as well. But sometimes my light just decides that it doesn't want to talk to my Stream Deck. So those are the best days.
Do you have an Elgato?
I do. Yeah. Did you just learn that this is a thing that you can do? Oh, there you go. Yeah.
For those of you not watching me, I just turned off and turned on my lights with a flick of a switch.
Hooray! I don't have the ring light. I just have the like panel.
That would be my new purchases would be a Nectar Pacer or something similar, and another light as well.
Yeah.
To have like a key light somewhere above me.
Nice. So I have the key light, and I find it does me well enough. I don't really want another light. This is actually a perfect segue. So I have a series of questions.
Yes. I was thinking,
we asked the audience from Norway. No, I'm kidding. We asked the audience for some questions, and I got a whole pile of them. I'm not going to use them all today, but there was one that like nicely ties in, which is, do you have an ideal dream state of your streaming setup, and what gear do you dream of?
Would you like to go first, since I think you've already given this some thought?
I have not given it any thought, so you can go ahead.
Preferably just the space of the room being a freestanding house or a studio. Preferably a part of the house me and my wife lives in, so I don't have to go somewhere to stream. So that would be number one thing, like having a basement thing with AC, keeping it at a constant cool 18 degrees Celsius.
Yes.
So you can wear a cardigan if you're cold.
Delightful.
That is my ideal thing. And that's, I don't know if the room would have any certain qualities, like a backdrop. I sort of like the thing I'm going on now with the bookshelves and stuff, and I also like it feels like a proper room.
It is.
I was very, very nervous when I first started streaming about showing the room behind me, because everyone's things were looking so incredible with all the RGB lights and stuff. And so I tried to like not show anything, and now I live here. But I think this would be the thing. And then I think my dream things would be to have more lights. Perhaps a setup where I could have a desktop where I could have fit my my piano, so I could easily play piano while streaming as well. Then more lights, perhaps another camera, like an overhead camera or something to like focus on the keys. I think that would be my dream.
Those are good
dreams. My
dreams.
dream room.
Good dreams.
Yes. And you?
I already have a room, which is good. That's I didn't before, and I'm very, very grateful to have my room now. I would love a new lens for my camera. That would be great. I would also love a more... This is like a dream because I don't even know how I would make it work. The way that things are set up for me at the moment, my camera is on a tripod that is balanced with one leg on the outer edge of a window frame, one leg on the inner edge of a window frame, and one leg on the floor. Because Because while I do have a room, it is a very small room. It's quite tight. And so my desk is pressed like quite close to the windows, and like we've angled it to try and make it better. And it's a little bit complicated. So it'd be nice to have a little bit more space. It'd be nice to have a way to mount my camera that wasn't going to shake. Like I can't clamp it to the desk because when I play piano, it would shake. I can't, there's a window behind it, so I can't build a shelf on the window because it's floor to ceiling windows there, so I can't do anything there. But I'd like a better way to have my camera mounted. But then there's just like some quality of life stuff within my stream. Obviously I would love a foot pedal. I'd really love a vocal harmonizer pedal, but those are like dream gear things, that like nice to haves. The foot pedal I will get probably sooner than later, but not a fancy one, just a simple thing. But the harmonizer, that's just like that's definitely a future scenario. But it's just like in stream, I've been wanting to like do some upgrades for that stuff. I want to have some transitions. I want to have different scenes for different things. I want to change my layouts. I want to put some chat on the screen, I think, for YouTube uploads, so that makes more sense now. Yeah, like I don't think I want another camera. I have a second camera that's just a shitty webcam, which is what we're using right now, that I use as like a loop cam.
Blown out in HD.
Yes, precisely. And
I can edit that out.
Absolutely not. I'm going to make it the title of the podcast. Yeah, stuff like that. I think just like having more pizzazz within the stream. I like keeping it really simple, but there's little things like I'd love it if like the Spotify codes would pop up when I play original songs, so that people know that they could go and like listen to them. So that's something that I'm thinking about implementing. It's just work, right? It's just like stuff like that. Do you have a
QR code on the screen?
I could have a QR code on the screen. Yep.
Is it possible for your desktop to read QR codes?
I don't think your desktop can read QR codes, but you can hold your phone
You'd
up
have
to
to hold
it.
your mobile device and go. Yep.
Yeah. So I've thought about that too, for like links and stuff, for like even for Patreon. But yeah, I think that's really it. It would like I've got a lot of instruments. I'd love a shaker. That's gear that I would like. I'd really love a little hand shaker.
Like an egg, or just
little egg shaker would be nice. But that's really it. I don't know. I'm a simple gal. I like the way setups are. I'd love to have more flexibility with
is this your
my
ideal
camera.
Thing you're talking about, like your dream room? Is this?
I think if it was a dream room,
dream. Triple.
It would be a little bigger.
Okay.
It would be a bigger room than I have right now. But it'd be
happy to hear that you're that happy with.
Yeah. I'm very happy with where we are. But I'm also like I'm very easily satisfied with stuff like that, like making things work. I love the desk that I built. It's done its job. You built your desk yourself? I did it with my dad. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we designed it together. For Andy
the Friendship as well?
Yeah, we did. And then a couple of people around the world have also built their own versions of the desk. I've either sent plans or like worked with them virtually to get their desk builds going. And yeah, it was a really fruitful little thing I was doing for a while. But
is this something that's available for your patrons, perhaps?
No, but it's a good idea. Because
that thing.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's because it's a really I love it. It works really good. There's stuff I would do differently for my own now. Like if I were to build Alanna Desk 2.0 for me, there's things that I would do differently. But for the time being, like it's definitely doing its job. But yeah, like big dream room would be bigger. I'd have more space to have people in, to move my camera around, to, I'm very stuck where I am right now. I have nowhere else I can be.
Different camera angles and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And more microphones.
Yeah. Have an easier setup for having like guests be be involved because right now
Yeah, you're
that's
going to
not
do
really
a
a
thing.
thing.
When this is released, you'll already have done.
It'll
the
already
deed.
be done. Yes, yeah. But Thursday, Danny the Hamilton and Kel Batia are coming over. Handy Dambleton, yes. Two of my really wonderful friends. Kel and I went to high school together. We've been friends for freaking forever. She did vocals on, I think, all of my albums with the exception of my EP. Actually, no, that's a lie. She just did it on 19 Meridian, but she used to play shows with me all the time with the band. She's a really great friend. And then we all know who Danny Hamilton is. If you don't know who Danny Hamilton is, he's basically a human cartoon man with terrible shirts and the voice of an angel.
Yeah, that's a good Biff Montgomery.
Oh, God.
I love Danny.
Me too. He's like one of my favorite humans. We went to college together.
Oh.
Yeah, he was a year below me, but I met him there. And then he's a good friend of one of my other good friends, Kyle. Oh. And so then we reconnected via Kyle.
Is Kyle the other part of What's the Plan, Jackie Chan?
Yes.
Kyle and Danny's
gaming stream.
They're gaming.
Yeah,
because I remember
Kyle
listening
went
to
to
you
college
and Danny
with
talk
me.
in the first iteration of this podcast when you were talking with Danny.
Yep.
I remember you talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
I have vivid memories of playing Stone Shard and listening to you talk to Danny.
That's kind of a weird thing. Like, do you think like people are going to listen to our podcast while like doing something, and then we're just going to be like attached to some memory in their brain?
That is super duper
cool.
weird in the best way.
Yeah, super good, but super weird at the same time.
Someone gave birth during the last Sharathon.
What?
One of my viewers was in labor, was in the hospital waiting to be induced, which is incredible.
That is incredible.
So that Sharathon, I shaved my mustache and someone went into labor. It's incredible. This is a Friday.
Wow.
So
That's
Twitch is wonderful.
That's so bizarre. Twitch is wonderful. I fully agree. I just got added to the beta for the follower emotes.
Oh. Did I also?
I don't know. I got an email.
It would be weird if you knew if I got accepted as well. This is also the perfect content for a podcast, or us browsing our inboxes. Going, yes, are you invited? No, I'm not invited. No.
Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I did not get to participate in the chanting.
Oh no, me neither. Yeah.
And that was a bummer. That would have been.
Will they roll that out
nice.
again? Will that be a feature?
I don't know. I hope it's going to be a feature. Yeah. I definitely like it. But I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a thing. Thing is, I don't have a lot of emotes left. Because you can't put the same. You can put the same emote for follower and subscriber, but you can only use the follower emotes in your own chat. So I don't want to take them out of subscriber and put them into follower because then people can't use. I basically just want the claps. I think
that's a good idea to have the claps there and
so that it's easy for everyone to
clap with headphones, perhaps.
And stuff. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The claps, the clap with headphones and the lighter. We can cut this part out. It's very boring. I will deal with this later. I'm out of emotes. I have no more emotes. I can't do it anymore.
This is great content though. This is the life of a Twitch streamer. Emotes
honestly,
is a big part of your brain. Going, how do I handle this?
How many emotes do you have?
What do the people
do you know how many emotes you have?
That's a loaded question. Give me okay. I now feel like the oldest man alive browsing the internet. When there's actually pressure going.
I believe in you.
There's no pressure.
There's literally no pressure.
I'm glad someone
I'm just
does.
sitting here.
Emotes. I have, as of now, 17 emotes for tier 1.
That's a lot.
I have 2 animated emotes, and I have 1 tier 3 emotes. I had a lot of ideas before I got partnered, and they all went out the window. But my wife makes the emotes, so whenever she's inspired, she does a few.
Nice. Yeah,
I love the new animated things.
I love them too. I think it's so smart. It was such a bummer having it be BTTV. Which for those who don't know, stands for Better Twitch TV, which is basically like a browser extension. But the problem was if you didn't have the browser extension, you couldn't see the emotes in chat. And like I've had multiple people in my chats be like, what's Cat Jam? And I'm like, I can't explain to you what Cat Jam is.
Has slow?
Yes.
How do you pronounce that?
I have no idea.
Good, me neither.
But it's a little bunny. I've wanted to create like my own version of these. So yes. Here's a question for you. In the topic of emotes, I'm going to cut some of this emote chat out, but we'll leave some of it in.
You will leave all of it in, and I have a question for you.
So I was thinking about the concept of being a content creator.
Yes.
But also being a musician, also all of these things. And we talked a little bit after the podcast last week about, a friend of mine was like, oh, wow, you have a podcast. Like, what's your podcast about? What do you do? And I'm like, I don't know. We just kind of talk about stuff. And she's like, that's not good. Like, you're going to have like a theme. Otherwise, like, no one's going to like know to listen. And it's like, I don't care. I just want to have fun conversations, and if people enjoy listening, they'll listen. If they don't enjoy listening, they won't listen. But I would like to have this time to just enjoy myself and talk to a friend. But there is always that pressure, right, of like making something that's going to be really good and it's maybe take off. And how do you set yourself up for success with this, that, and the other? But I was thinking about it last night about how much pressure there is to stand out, like to somebody that I know, or like at least like through social media, and they always seem, unfortunately, to be on the tail end of trends. They're never the first one in. They're doing their best, but they're always seem to be riding on the coattails of other trends, and they do fine for themselves, but they're very determined to be a content creator and to be a social media personality, which is like a perfectly fine goal in this day and age. Yes. But like they struggle with what most people struggle with, which is like, how do you create like a selling point? Like I got an email from maybe CD Baby or like one of the music things that's like, in a world of hundreds of thousands of musicians, what makes you stand out? Read our blog post. And it's like, like what does make you stand out?
So weird.
Like, do you think about that ever? Do you ever worry about that? Like, I think you have things going naturally for you. I think I'm the same way, where we kind of have our own things that are working naturally in our favor. But is that something that you ever
very blessed
think about?
To be able to do the thing I'm doing? Mm-hmm. Just 100% very, very happy and grateful that I made it this far.
Yeah.
From playing a pub and going, hello, can I play here? And now I'm doing this. But I think a lot about like USPs or the unique selling points and stuff like that, and what would make me different, and how to and talking about branding. I've met a close friend this year who is a digital marketing strategist, and it's such a weird world. And talking about SEOs and like how to brand your web page and stuff like that. I wanted to play music. I wanted to strum some chords and sing some songs.
Yeah.
And I'm learning how to optimize my web results, which feels ridiculous, but it's the world. And I've been trying to avoid this for the past 10 years, going, well, if I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it the old-fashioned way, which is the most. If there's anyone listening to this, that is the most stupid approach you can take. Start putting content up now. It doesn't matter how good it is. Start doing something.
I concur wholeheartedly. with that.
I used to play these open mics and thinking, well, I might get discovered here. And this year I've actually finished the thought of, so what if I was to be discovered at an open mic, what would happen afterwards? Because if there was a talent scout, they'd go, I like your, perhaps they'd say, I like your sound. And I'd say, thank you very much. Can we work together? And they would go, yeah, do you have a following? No. Okay, social media, do you have anything? No. How do you can start a brand that quickly. You need to do things continuously if that's what you want to do. If you want to be a content creator. And yeah. I've mentally prepared myself for, I don't want to be in the top content creator. I want to live a comfortable life, perhaps. Mm-hmm. But not like rich. I don't have those ambitions at all. I want to play guitar and sing some songs and have some laughs. And most of my anxiousness comes from stems from trying to support my wife and not being, so she doesn't have to be the sole breadwinner at times. That is the only reason why I why I try harder now is to actually make like a proper living for us both.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you make a lot of good points there. I think that's like, it is this weird self-fulfilling prophecy, which I think is like my phrase of the year. I feel like I've said it so many times this year, but it's true. Like the talent scouts aren't going to have any interest in you unless you already have a big social media following. Right? So it's like it's like they want to boost you further, but they want to start from nothing. They don't want to start from nothing. Right. And I think that now in this age of social media, you're not going to get discovered like Justin Bieber anymore. No.
There's
like
so
that doesn't happen. Yeah. It's such a saturated market. There's people everywhere. I find it like equal parts stressful and freeing.
Yes, because it takes the pressure off you.
It fully does. On one hand, it's like, oh my God, there are so many tools. There's so many things that I could be doing at every minute, all the time. Like my website fucking sucks. Yeah, I should be updating my website 100%. Have I done that since I was told to do that like months ago by like a well-meaning friend? No. Absolutely not. Because I'm also learning how to produce better. I'm learning how to make beats. I'm improving my setup. I'm learning songs. I'm still trying to like work side jobs so that I can afford to do this full time. Like I'm a full-time musician. I'm a full-time Twitch streamer. But I'm still a part-time sound designer. I'm still a part-time music teacher. I'm still having to do other things to supplement this income. I don't have time to think about SEO. I don't have brain space to think about that, to think about branding, to think about that stuff. And like, yeah, that's it. And this is why I was thinking about it. It's just like, I don't know what my unique selling point is, because I think and this is going to sound like I'm being self-deprecating. I'm not being self-deprecating. I'm good. And I know that. But there are a lot of people that are also good. Like people that are better than me, that have done worse than me, and so like, I'm so grateful to be on this path now. And I feel like I'm on my way to having a better handle on this stuff. And that's great. But it does feel often like my unique selling point, at least what it is at the moment, isn't actually that unique. Like, I've just worked harder, and I think maybe there's something to be said for that. Like kind of what you were saying before, like you have content, put the content out there. Yeah. Like you might not have the most unique voice or the most unique playing or the most unique songwriting or any of those things, because people out there doing exactly what you're doing aren't putting their content out. A lot of those people aren't putting themselves out there. A lot of them are sitting around waiting to be quote unquote discovered.
And there's also something to be said about music being, some might hate what you're doing and some might love it. Mm-hmm. And some might just be indifferent.
Yeah.
and
it's
whatever
super
you're doing,
subjective.
Yeah. And it's hard to go, well, if you want to do this, do A. Mm-hmm. It might work for someone. And I've been thinking lately as well that perhaps everyone, it gets so weird when you have to go viral, when that is like the goal of it. I don't know. It's such a weird chase of going after. And I don't know if I've talked about fast food with you.
I don't think so. No.
And food and music. Like there is Michelin-starred restaurants.
Yes.
Where you eat a dinner and you go, wow, holy, this is something incredible. And then you have restaurants, and then you have fast food. It's the same with music. You have those musical experiences that are, wow, oh my God, everything is just like an explosion of sounds. And then you have musicians that are your bread and butter, steak and potatoes. It's just someone playing songs. And then you have me, who is the fast food version of like the bar musician who plays the Wonderwall for you whilst you're getting drunk. Mm-hmm. And all of those things are allowed to exist, and they're all fine in their own space. And nothing makes the other one better or worse. But there's an expectation for you to always be striving for the fine dining thing.
Yeah.
And not being content with just going, no, I love doing this. I love playing these songs. I love when people sing along and they have a good time.
I think it depends what
you... I don't need to change someone's world tonight.
It depends what you want,
It'll be fine if
right?
they just had a little break from life. Sorry, what's that?
It depends what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you are content and happy, then you should keep doing what makes you content and happy. You don't need to strive for that next.
Because it's
thing.
expected of you.
Yeah. It's it's a wild world.
Baby. It's a DMCA strike coming. But
just for that.
I'm also in an extremely blessed and I'm very grateful for the position I'm in where I can say these things and act on it and pursue a career on an uncertain platform.
Yeah.
Trusting in the kindness of others to carry me through this. Mm-hmm. Thinking, why are they... don't they realize they're giving me real money whenever they donate or subscribe? Those are the real hard-earned dollars.
Yeah.
Part of me is thinking that. Part of me also knows my own worth and the amount of hours I put in. Mm-hmm. So there's a conflict inside about these things. But
yeah, I don't know. I'm also, I don't think I've said it yet today, like incredibly grateful to be where I am and to be at this point. But it's always this like, what's next? You know, what's next? And I had a good conversation. I helped a fellow streamer do some audio setup stuff. And we just chit-chatted a little bit after. And they're still on the smaller side of things. And we didn't really, we met each other because she knew that I was good with Ableton and she liked what I was doing, so she wanted my help, so I was helping her. But we don't have we didn't really have much of a rapport, I guess, if that makes sense. I would say, this is gonna sound bizarre, I feel like she's in the next generation of Twitch music streamers.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like there's a bunch of different generations based on when you started, and you made friends based on when you started and who was streaming around the same time that you streamed. And I feel like she's in the next generation from where we are, if that makes sense. Doesn't make anyone better or worse than anyone else. It's just
it's just a matter of time and yeah.
Absolutely. But I'm looking forward to
in general.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to know her better. But we talked a little bit afterwards, and we talked a little bit about kind of the the mental hurdles that you go with when you're streaming, and things have been a little bit slower lately for both of us, very slightly, but enough that you kind of notice.
Yeah,
and just having the opportunity to say to her, yeah, it's going to come back up. You need to not worry about it. You need to be kind to yourself. I'm if I can offer you any sage advice from having done this for 2 years, you you have to be kind to yourself. You have to be gentle with yourself, because if you get frustrated and you get angry at how your progress is going in comparison to other people, with that comparison beast we talk about all the time, like, you're going to have a worse time for it. You know, you can be grateful for where you are and frustrated with how far you still have to go. And I feel like that's where we are, right? Is that, like, we're very grateful for the opportunities that we have and the people that support us, but there's this, like, gaping hole of, like, what's next and what do we have to do next?
In the middle of a chasm going,
yeah, we're just, like, balancing, and it's just like
walking over a chasm of uncertainty going, this might be the path. We'll see.
Yeah, being grateful that the rope has held us this far, but then not being sure if the rope is going to continue to hold us, and what even is on the other side. I have no idea. Who knows, right? Like,
I was talking to a friend about this podcast as well.
Yeah.
And do you have a theme? Do you have questions? Do you have? And then I realized afterwards that we don't have a theme per se. We talk about Twitch. That's our common denominator. But also just getting to know someone, because we speak like half an hour before this, and perhaps last year time we spoke like an hour after the talk about more like pressing matters. But just getting to know someone, and someone who's incredible as you, and I really cherish these moments, and not having the obligation for it to be something that is incredible.
Yes,
it's a conversation that we're recording.
Yeah, it is, and like, I'm also like, I love it. Like, I think it's crazy when I think about the fact that we get to do this, and that we get to sit and, like, that you are in Sweden and I am in Canada, and we both have our, like, very unique life paths that have converged at this moment. And I think that's so cool, right? Like, I think you've been through so much on your, like, musical journey, your, like, journey as a human. Like, you're wicked talented. Like, it's so neat that we've managed to, like, you know, come back to this, like, meet up at this point. Because of the choices that we've both made. Kind of wild. I'm
glad that I jumped on this to do this as well.
Me too.
Theo would have gone, no, should I really talk on the internet? And also, another wonderful thing about this is the ability to test out if your self-worth without a guitar.
That's true. That's true.
Because we're not only talking, and I'm always having the suit of armor with you, which is the guitar. And now I'm just a monkey with a microphone. So I hope this works.
I think it works. I mean, every time I've gone to edit,
this is a meta podcast.
Yeah, it is. Every time I've gone to edit,
is there a podcasts category?
What's the podcast where you talk about podcasts? What's that?
Podcasting. And then about other podcasts.
Yeah. Every time I've gone to edit, I always just get caught up in listening to it because I think it's interesting. I think it's fun to listen to. I hope other people are enjoying listening to it. I know people in Norway are enjoying listening to it. Yeah. So
what was it, 150th?
55th. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay, Norway. We can do this. Next time, 154.
Yeah, come on, man.
And then we're taking.
Come on. He spoke Norwegian. You got it. You got to do it.
I wouldn't say that was Norwegian if you're.
Okay. I don't know. I don't understand anything.
I have a few Norwegian. Do you have Norwegian viewers that you know of?
Not that I can think of.
I know I have 2 at least.
Okay.
3, 4. I think I have 5.
Okay.
But also, I'm on sort of the border to Norway, so it makes a lot more sense with the same time zone. But
I don't know that I do. If I do, they haven't said anything. Something wild. Speaking of people being from places. Whoa, what a segue. Wow. The things people think and the places people come from.
Things with stuff with bits.
Yes. I was looking a few months ago at my Spotify stats. I don't know if you've ever looked at your Spotify. Nope. They do quite a good job at breaking things down as far as like demographics. It's kind of wild. What? That's what? Mm-hmm.
I think Tracy Chan, Pat TBC, the Twitch staff. He used to work for Spotify. I think he was a big part of that.
That's really cool.
He was the one who came up with the rap things on Spotify.
Interesting. Yeah, because it's
that's why we have raps on Twitch now. Sorry.
It's okay. I lost it. Where'd my brain go? Come back. Come back.
Country-specific stats for Spotify.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Listeners' positions.
I have a lot of people who listen to me in France.
Wow.
More people listen to me in France than anywhere else.
You have a certain je de vie. That is not French. I was trying to say that there. Never mind. Well, it's a French word for I don't know what.
Yes. Je parle français.
Do you speak French since you're...
Oui.
Are you just doing the thing where you're saying oui now to say that you're...
No.
I pulled that
speak
thing
French.
when I was working as a substitute teacher. When I asked, do you speak French? Oui.
Oh,
say something French, and I just laughed in French.
But then you're just gonna get in trouble really quick.
What?
My French is very rusty, but I do speak French.
Did you say rusty or rustic?
Rusty. I speak rustic French. It's like a fine wine. It just gets better the longer you don't speak it. But yeah, it's very strange. I don't have an explanation for it. I haven't done anything in specific to promote in France. It's just something that has happened. I know that there are people who watch me on Twitch that are in France. A lot of people actually in Europe, which is really cool, like in Spain and in the UK and stuff. And like that's really neat. But it was so strange. It was so strange looking at that and being like Canada, the country in which I live, where, the majority of my friends and family are, wasn't even top 10.
Wow.
I don't know how to take that. It's kind of cool to me. I don't know. Like it's kind of reassuring that it's not just your friends and family that are listening to you and supporting you. It's people from all over the place.
Is that a saying in America as well, that you can't be a prophet in your own home place?
I don't know that I've heard that before.
I might be using Swedish proverbs here now.
But I do kind of like that. You can't be a prophet in your hometown.
It's called, du kan inte bli profet i din egen hemstad, which means you can't be the prophet in the town that you come from. You have to go somewhere else to spread your gospel.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah. But it's, as you're saying, it's also very fun to see that it's just not your friends and family carrying your numbers on Spotify.
Yeah. Feels good. It feels good and feels bad, because on one hand I'm like, I'm glad that they're not listening, but on the other hand I'm like, hey,
why aren't they listening to me?
Excuse me.
The old content creator double-edged sword. On one hand, I'm glad they're not listening, but secondly, why aren't they listening to me?
Yeah.
I'm a treat.
So something that came out of me thinking about this whole content creator unique selling point, just to bring it all back around, is I came to a decision last night, and I'm saying it on the podcast so that...
You're a content creator.
Well, yes, but not that.
Okay, sorry. I don't know why I'm trying to put words into...
What else am I going to say? I want to know.
I will lean back and I will let you talk.
Why let me talk when my brain could just fuck off forever? That's great.
You decided last night that you were going to be...
Yes. So I was thinking about unique selling points, and I want to say this on the podcast because I want people to hold me accountable for saying this. I want to remember that this is something that I want to do, and I'm going to say it now. Everyone who listens to the podcast knows. I would like to produce more music for other people.
Wow.
That's what I really want to do, because there's not a lot of women producers. There's I saw some stats last week that like it's worse than I thought it was. I thought maybe it would be like 60-40. It's like 90-10. Like it's really bad.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but I feel like there's just a pattern just because of how things are, where it's like you write a song, and then if you don't have the idea of how to do production, your next step is to go to someone that does, and either you're hiring a producer that you don't know, or you're going to a friend. But there's like a 90% chance that they're gonna be a dude. And that's okay. Like one of my best friends, we wrote an album together. He was my producer for my EP. Like I sent all my stuff to him, and like I have nothing against him. I have nothing against that. But it's just that like I think it'd be pretty rad.
That you want to see.
Exactly. I think it'd be cool to do it so that other women can maybe be inspired to do it too, and to change the narrative about that stuff. And like, are you primarily thinking? I'm just curious now. Are you thinking about like the whole shebang, like songwriting, making albums with people, or just going and doing specific things? I think I'd like to produce tracks for people. I know, like, especially people on Twitch. I would love to be able to like. I know a lot of people who are writing songs and who want to get them produced and who want to get them like looked at, and I would love to do that for them. I'd love to like, I don't know. I think that it's a skill that I have. It's a skill I'd like to get better at, and it's something that is like something that I deeply believe in. Thanks. So like, I don't know. I think that's what I would like to do next.
I would hire you in an instant.
Oh, thanks.
If I had things to be produced. I'm still working past those 13 songs that you wrote in Songtober. There's literally no rush. I think that's what I want to do. That's cool. Mm-hmm. Super happy that you manifest that into the world. Mm-hmm. It's out there now. It's out in this and it's cool. Universe. This is now on permanent record as well on the internet. Yeah, exactly. Unless we take it down or I cut it out. I am in charge of editing this podcast, so I can just edit out anything I want. If I ever sound dumb here or incoherent, it's all my own fault. There's no shade on Alanna. She's doing miracles with what I'm giving her. Oh no, I don't do much, honestly. The first episode, I was like, I'm gonna cut out every Guess how long that lasted. But I can tell you, not very long. That is one of my favorite episodes of How I Met Your Mother. The have you seen How I Met Your Mother? Sorry. I went down a different road. This is the best comment out of sync singing on Discord. Yeah, I'll line it up. I watched a little bit of the first season of How I Met Your Mother, and that's it. Did you? What? Oh, the last season? Oh, the first season. Oh, thank God. Well, that last season was a train wreck. That's what I've heard, and that's kind of why I never got through it. Is that I wasn't super sold on what I watched, and then I know some people really love it. They didn't catch me. I loved the first 3-4 seasons. Mm-hmm. And then I just continued watching and seeing the downfall. Yes. When there's more bad episodes than good per season, and then the last season is just... I didn't even get started. Yeah. It's nothing compared to the trash can fire or dumpster fire that was Scrubs season 9. Oh, I thought you were going to say Game of Thrones. I was so ready. Oh my God. Yeah, we talked about this last time. Yeah. That's an entire different level of dumpster fire. Scrubs is also another one that I haven't watched. Scrubs? Yeah. Wow. I envy you. I would love to rewatch Scrubs with fresh eyes. Mm-hmm. Some things have not held up to the trials of time. Of course. What is that? The Trials of time, I think, is what you were trying to say, but the test of time? I was trying to say that, and then realized I sound like a bumbling fool. But there's some things, but they also edited that out themselves. There were some not so good things with blackface. that the creator of the show, Bill Lawrence, he just pulled those episodes. He didn't even edit it. He just went, nope, these are made in a time where I didn't know better.
Yeah.
And this is stupid and dumb, and they're not going to be broadcasted.
Good.
Which I love and applaud.
Yeah.
But of course, Twitter went, but why can't you just... But there's a wonderful podcast called Fake Doctors, Real Friends, with Zach Braff and Noel Fashion, where they talk about, they have a rewatch. So that's my
so
treat.
nice.
That's what I'm going to do after this pod.
Yeah.
After we record this podcast, I'm going to put on my running shoes and I'm going to go out and listen to an episode of that.
Cute. I like that a lot. So one final question for the day, I think.
Yes.
Just pulling from the questions from the audience as opposed to just the questions in my own head. Unless you had a question. I feel like I've asked all the questions today. Did you have a question?
Did I have I think I had a question, but I think we also covered that in sort of like...
In the rambling?
General conversation, yeah.
On the last episode, you two talked a bit about your partners. Fell is fairly consistent in the room. Ghost is seen in leg form walking down the hallway and occasionally arm form handing out beverages. How do they feel about your streaming? How confused were they by your stream chat when they first saw it? So to clarify, just before anything else, my partner... his name is Eddie, but we call him Ghost. It's not. Did you not know that either? It's so weird to me. Like, okay, the reason we called him Ghost before is in our old apartment. We lived in a studio apartment that was not a studio apartment. Sorry, a loft apartment. But there was no like. I don't know how to explain what it is. It's like one big room and the loft comes out halfway over the living room and there's no wall there. There's just like a balcony. And so I used to stream upstairs and Ghost would sit downstairs in the living room. But we could hear each other because it's just one big space. Like it's not two separate rooms. And so occasionally you would hear his voice correcting something that I'd said or trying to like help me sing a song, or he would bring me a drink or like a tea or something, but he was never, ever, ever on screen. And so people thought I had a ghost in my apartment, so we called him Ghost. And so he's been Ghost ever since. But he does have a name. It's not actually a secret, but his name is Eddie.
He sang with you in your partner celebration.
He did. He did sing in the partner celebration. Has Fel was on screen for you for your partner celebration?
Yes, she sang with me as well.
Yeah, she did. I thought so.
That was
I was about to say, wait.
Singing in public ever.
Yeah. Good for her. Wow.
She's an incredible singer. I've been telling her this for years and wanting her to sing. And now I coaxed her.
Nice. Good job.
The wonders of whiskey and nagging.
How does Fel feel about your streaming, and how confused were they by your stream chat?
She really loves it, I think.
Okay.
Hopefully, or but no, she really loves. I think especially she loves how it makes me feel. Because when I started, I started streaming when all the gigs were canceled here, and we were hoping that that I could still do my seasonal work. So she thought that Twitch would just be my safety valve, so I could just play some songs and interact with people. And then in the beginning, she didn't even want to be heard on stream. She tried not, because she was sitting next to me working, so she would leave the room to cough. Poor thing.
Oh my gosh.
She's the most considerate person in the entire galaxy. She is so kind and just wonderful. And then she started laughing one time, and then I think Pioneer Bucky started a counter for wife laughs. And now we've hit, I think we're at 1,500 wife laughs that have been counted on stream.
Wow, that's so cute. I love that.
And then she's tried to be off camera, but just so we could hear her. So she would interact with chat and talk.
Yeah.
But then, and when I moved this setup, it's impossible because she sits to my right. So if she goes to the toilet or kitchen, whatever, she will be visible. So she tried to do the thing you do when you're trying to be not seen. She did the inconspicuous walk. I've never seen anyone draw that much attention to herself walking. Because she was trying to walk in a way that we wouldn't notice her. She was like full stiff back. Just going, nothing to say. It was the weirdest thing ever. And since then, and then the bat, because we call her Bat P. Have I told you this story about?
No.
Is this So you know how the internet works.
It's going to be a long one. Yes, continue.
Where you no, I've since learned how to boil this down. She's called Bat P.
Okay.
2010.
I more meant that the stream was going to be long, or the podcast was going to be long. I don't care if the podcast is long or if the story is long. I'm here. Okay. I'm sweating, but I'm here. I should take my sweater off.
Because I've since learned now how to boil this down into a very, very quick story. Fel went to Prague our first year together. She went to Prague with her mother, celebrated Christmas. In Prague, there was a zoo. At that zoo, there was a terrarium. Mm-hmm. In that zoo, in terrarium, there was bats. There was also a teenage girl. And that teenage girl screamed, thusly the bat peed on my wife. And then she came home and told me this story, and then I called her Bat Pee. And I told this story on stream in September, and I never thought that would be anything. I just thought it's a story amongst many other stories that I've told. Mm-hmm. And now people call her Bat Pee.
Wow. I'm sure she loves that.
She's actually quite fine with it. I have a million nicknames for her, so she's very happy that is the one. So every time she sneezes, there's a bat shoo command that also counts her.
That's so cute.
Whereas one of our viewers, Bob, said, "Is your wife okay with us tracking all her bodily functions, like laughing, sneezing?" Mm-hmm. So all in all, she's happy
That's good.
about streaming, and she's very invested now as well, and she really likes doing the emotes and hanging out in chat. And
nice.
She's forged a bond to it. Involuntary or voluntary, I don't know.
Yeah, but either way. Ghost likes it. It's been. This is gonna make it sound like
it's spam.
I know, and I feel like I'm building it up as though it's so much worse, but it's not. What did you say?
No, just the bare naked ladies.
Oh,
you can say 1 week and then.
Yep, that's fine. No, he was, I think, very passive about it. The thing is, he has to put up with me talking about it just all the time. Especially through all of the partner rejections, which really sucked. He was very supportive and very empathetic to the whole situation, and he's always around now. But we did have to kind of have a conversation about it, because I felt a little bit like it was my world, and that he didn't feel like he could be part of that world. Even though, he's infamous on stream and everyone loves him. They love when he shows up. Anytime that he comes to sing, it's a big event. It's a huge deal. Him and Azora, one of my mods, has they've got their own little thing going, and everyone loves him. And he was doing a lot behind the scenes, but he wasn't necessarily active in stream. And so we had a conversation pretty recently, actually, where I was just kind of he has no issue with me streaming, and he loves that I stream, but I felt very separated from him in that world. And I was worried that was going to not cause separation between us necessarily, but just that the more it grew, the more it became my life. I wanted to have him and participate a little bit more. And so since then, he's been modding like crazy. He's in chat all the time. He's having a really good time. And he's become a much more active participant, which I love. He's really liking it. The people in chat really like it, the other mods. And so it's been really great. I think he kind of went from, he never disliked it. He never had any issue with me doing it. He was so happy for the success and to have me doing it. He just didn't realize that I kind of wanted to share that, I guess, if that makes sense. But
he is a mod. He
is a mod. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He was my first mod.
We have since removed Fel's sword.
Oh, what does she do?
She thought it was a shame as she didn't do anything.
That's kind of how Ghost felt for a while as well, but now he's learning how to do stuff. But that's also the thing, is that all the other mods that I have know Twitch backwards and forwards and know how to do all of the things, and he didn't know how to do the things yet. So it was well, why bother
Yeah,
when like other people know how to
Twitch
do it
ninjas
already?
and-
Yeah, exactly. But now he's like, he's learning it, and I don't know. I think it's really cute. He takes it really seriously. That makes me happy.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. Thanks.
It's such a fun. It's also such a fun job that you can share it with your spouse or your significant other. Because I love when Phyllis hang out in chat as well, and she's making me laugh as well. And she does stupid things in the best way. Stupid, like it cracks me up. Stupid things.
Yes.
Or she calls me out whenever I'm too excited and I can't stop talking. She puts her hand on my shoulder, going, "There." And sometimes I just need someone to hit the brakes for me. Oh,
I have exactly the same thing, but for me it comes in the form of, I have a channel point redeem called Take a Breath.
Oh.
And so like sometimes people will do it just like randomly, but like usually it's either Ghost or one of my other mods being like, you need some chill.
my sir emote was the initial Theo, what are you doing? Where the chat would go, sir?
Yeah.
Is this?
Yeah.
And then whenever Pine Branch or Bucky goes exclamation point, sir, I know, oh no, now I've done goofed, or I'm about to goof and I need to.
I've gone too far down this rabbit hole and I need to bring it back.
Because sometimes there's just a stream of consciousness. Do you also have like those where you just, I don't know if you call it like a clutch in a car, where you try to see how. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing when you just get to let your brain go do its own thing for a while.
Oh yeah. I feel like for me it's like an energy thing. Like I can get stuck in a vibe. Yeah. And like generally I'm quite chill, but there are things that can happen, or I can just like, I don't know, I just get stuck in this like very weird, I always call it like a hectic vibe, which isn't necessarily what it is. It's just like kind of like intense in a way, even though it's like usually like a happy vibe, like a good, it's good at its core. It's just like intense or like too much kind of.
I think I have the same feeling.
That's usually when I have to be told to chill, because I haven't noticed that I've been stuck in this like weird like yeah, just like going off with like a certain tone of voice all the time, and like I don't know. It's like, Alanna, you need to fucking take a breath.
But would you say that you're a lot like yourself on stream?
Oh yeah,
like off stream and on stream. Yeah. Are you? Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I think like I think for a long time I tried. Okay, no. For a long time, I didn't realize that I was putting on this kind of performer person. It was just this like weird default thing that would happen when I would get on camera. I think based on like watching other people stream or YouTubers or whatever, when they put on this like, hey, what's up, you guys? Like, you know,
and you're a different person when you step out on a stage to play live. You're a different person than when you sit in the audience.
Absolutely.
You go into fucking. It's time to get ready to do this.
Yeah.
And when there's no way to relieve that pressure in front of a camera as well, would you just sit there going, "Is this what I'm doing now? Am I doing it properly? Am I doing the entertainer? Am I the Twitch now?"
Yeah.
But and then you realize that you were putting on a persona and
and I for the most part, I think it's become. I talked to my therapist about this actually. Well, she brought it up that having to balance essentially like 3 personalities at all times is really difficult. Like you have kind of this like person that you actually are on stream, like this performer person. You have the person who you are, and then you have the person that you think people think you are, which is the trickiest, worst part of the whole thing, is that you're trying to meld all 3 of these people into one person, when really like you need to be letting go of as much as possible. You're going to have a persona when you're streaming. You're going to be a different person when you're on camera versus when you're not on camera, but you can meld those 2 people together, but you'll never be able to meld that third person of like trying to be who you think people think you are. like then you're just forcing something else. And I think that is something I struggle with a lot. I think that there's a lot of people who hold me to a standard that isn't logical and gives me a lot of anxiety. Like, I am not a very spicy potato, despite the nickname. I'm not. I'm very scared of making people upset and of hurting people. And I worry about that a lot, but people see me as this kind of like very strong go-getter person who can do no wrong. And it's like, I worry for the day that I do say something that someone is like, doesn't expect to come out of my mouth. Not something that's controversial. I don't really have controversial opinions, but like, I worry that there's someday I'm going to just like say something that someone's going to be like, oh, that doesn't seem like a very Alanna thing to say. And it just like changes their perception of me. But like, I have to understand that that has already happened hundreds of times over because I am not in control of what people think.
How they perceive you. Yeah.
Yeah. And how they perceive me. I just have to be as true to myself as I can be. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? It was a little bit deep. We got a little deep and I'm sorry.
No. There's nothing to be sorry about. That's good. I like the depths. That is my safety voice. Yeah. When my brain is going, this is close to home. But
do you relate? Like, do you feel that at all?
100%. And your closing argument with that has already happened. People have already changed their mind about you a million times. So you don't like cilantro? You don't like? I mean, there's a million things that you say, and people will change many things about you.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter what people think about you. What you think about you and what you're proud of is like what it boils down to, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, it is.
And being when you put your head on your pillow, going, yeah, I did good, or I didn't hurt anyone else.
Yeah, or at least like not intentionally, you know.
Yeah, you might have hurt someone, but you didn't go out of your way to do it.
No, you didn't try to do it. No, it's a difficult thing, and I think that I think if we were to have a theme for our podcast, and what I think it will always continue to be is kind of the inner workings of what it feels like to stream on Twitch, to be a musician on Twitch, and that it is very difficult, and that is one of the things that you do have to struggle with, is putting on this face that is, it's you. It's very much me. I am very much me when I'm streaming. I'm not some other weird version of myself, but
I would,
I'm like exaggerated Alanna. Maybe.
Yeah, of course.
I make much worse jokes when I'm not streaming. I can tell you that 100%. I think once I start doing gaming streams, people will learn that I have the most daddiest sense of humor you've ever encountered in your life.
I'm asking for the general public, when will these game streams be happening, by the way?
So they were supposed to happen as soon as I hit partner, and then I was busy and stuff with my job was all bananas. And now July is also crazy. I'm like doing something almost every weekend because our friends are moving and it's the summer, so there's like cottage stuff happening. So I'm hoping for August. I'm hoping that in August I can come back from a cottage, like I have a cottage trip right at the end of July, and I'm hoping that I can use that cottage trip to like clear my mind, make some plans for the future, figure out what's next. But there's just like a lot happening in July. So cool.
But yeah, the persona that you put forward, or that I put forward when I'm streaming, of course I'm exaggerating some parts and dialing some parts back. But I wouldn't say that I'm doing things that are out of character for me to do. As my mom said, I am a lot more crazy off stream, or I say weirder things and finished weird thoughts if I'm off stream. You have the sense of being on stage and taking up someone's time. At least I have that experience when I'm streaming. We had a masterclass when I was studying music with someone who said that whenever you go on stage, or when you grab a microphone, it's the same thing as proposing a toast at a wedding or something and going, I'm not that much of a speaker, so people go, oh no. And since you have that time, I'm doing my best to be concise, just like now, but and like trying to figure out what I want to say.
Yeah.
But when you're streaming and there's 90 million things happening at the same time, there's sometimes it's really slow when you just play the same songs and chat is slow, and then you have 5 raids in a row, and there's inside jokes happening, and people are requesting for certain things.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes, absolutely wonderful.
And then your brain can get a bit fried after that.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I think your brain can get fried either way. Those days when like chat's really slow and then you're relying on your own energy to like keep you going, versus the days when chat's really fast and you're like, oh my god, this is too much energy, and then you're like you're burnt either way, kind of thing. Like there's no.
So, to sum things up, Twitch streamers are like Goldilocks.
This chat is too slow. This chat is too fast.
This community is too much spice.
I would say that I think the main difference for me is that I swear a lot more when I'm not on stream.
Yeah.
A lot more. And I notice that when I'm like talking to people, like it's just part of how I speak. It's just the way.
Okay,
like,
so I need to know if it's the sheer amount of curse words or the severity of the curse words.
I think just
yes.
Yes. No.
If you
it's
can
not.
See Alanna now.
It's not severity. I don't swear in a way that's like I'm really mad and the only way that I can get what I'm feeling out is to swear. It's just like it's very casual for me kind of thing. It's just part of how I speak. Like I dealt with this guy when I was driving home from working out this morning who was just a total asshole, and like that I don't think I would say that on stream. I don't think I would say that live, but that's something that I would like say in my day-to-day life, you know? But I think also like when I'm modding for other people, I'm much more tough than I am on stream, because I feel like when I'm streaming, I have to be kind of fair to everyone and leave the toughness to my mods. Whereas like when I'm modding for especially certain people, like you come in, you act out, fuck no, you're out. Like I'm serious. Whereas like when I'm streaming, I have to be like nice and calm and gentle and ignore it, or like try and like make nice with them. Whereas it's like if I'm somewhere else, or like if it's real life, like when I give advice to people, I'm often very blunt. I'm often very like, this is just the tough truth, and you know I don't pussyfoot around that, and I don't feel like I'm like that on stream. I feel like I'm a little bit more like soft with people on stream.
Sure.
But I think those are the differences. I don't know. I like if I were to say like one way or the other, like I'm slightly more sharp in real life than I am on stream. That's maybe a good like good
like
way to say
streamer
it.
Scatterbrain is a real thing, and as soon as that camera goes on and you go live, your mental aptitude decreases by 25%.
Yes.
It's fantastic. Speaking about curse words, and I've been browsing Reddit, and I've been hearing a phrase for a long time now, and I really enjoy it. And I'm just thinking about mods, and when people go, "Why was I banned?" or when people complain about the phrase "fuck around and find out." I love that phrase so much. It's sort of you did the fucking around.
And you found out.
It seems to be the consequences of my actions have come to haunt me.
Yeah, that's great. I like that. I think that's funny. It's I love having a good mod squad that's there to kind of like deal with those people. But anyways, we should close up for the day because it's a long one.
Yeah. Wow. We did
I know.
it again.
We did it again. We do it every time.
How are we ever going to get a guest in here?
God knows. We're going to have like a really set, like
an air horn going, no.
We're just going to have like a really set number of questions and like a time frame for each question. I have no idea. Personally, as a podcast listener, I love long podcasts.
Same here. Because I usually like do dishes or walk around and do things, and I like if if I stop it, I come back to it. So I'm all for the long format instead of going like 30 minutes, jam-packed with energy, talking like this. Everything is... so this I love this.
Yeah, me too. Okay,
it's so
great.
weird to talk about the thing you're doing. Well, yeah.
This has been the Meta podcast. Maybe that's what we should call it. Yes. Podcast. The Meta episode.
We should call it...
The Metasode?
Meta HD blown out.
A thing people thing was a note I made as well.
The thing people think, yes.
Yeah. Because I thought that was a good line. Anyways, let's wrap it up. Thank you for podcasting with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
You could also say it vice versa. I realized I didn't have you.
Yeah,
you could have had me. Oh, thanks for having me, Theo.
Yeah. Thank you for hanging out here this evening.
It's been lovely.
Are you in the pre-evening?
Pre-evening?
No.
Yes. It's 4:00.
Is that afternoon? Yeah, because there should be a pre-evening, like between afternoon and evening.
I fully agree. Yes. I think that's where I am currently.
And if people would like to interact with you on social media, where will they go though?
Oh, you're so much better at this than I am. I am Alanna W. Matty on Instagram, and I am Alanna Matty everywhere else. Alanna_Matty on Twitch. But if you search Alanna Matty on Twitch, I am the one you will find.
I am the one.
I am the one.
Search, you shall find the Alanna Matty.
The one and only.
And I'm at Theodor Elfving on Instagram and on Twitter, and on Twitch I'm Theodor Elfving. That's a very
easy.
It's not a simple name to spell, but spelled the way it sounds.
I think your name should be in the byline for the podcast.
Yes. Oh.
Yes. So easy spelling. All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye. See you soon.
See you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.